Let's talk about trauma, not in a dramatic way, but in a real, practical way, how it actually shapes who you become. Because you don't just grow up and become yourself, you adapt. And what does it mean? That you develop what psychology calls attachment styles, coping mechanism, and resistance. But let's simplify it. You learn how to survive your environment. If love was unstable, you become anxious. You hold on, you overgive, you try to secure connection. If emotions were unsafe, you shut down. You become independent, self-sufficient, I don't need anyone kind of person. If you grew up around a significant adult who was emotionally inconsistent or fragile in a way that made you responsible for them, you start scanning in everything. What do they need? How should I behave? How do I keep this stable? And that's where your coping mechanisms are born. You become the strong one, the responsible one, the achiever, the one who keeps everything together. Sometimes it looks like success, like discipline, like ambition. People even joke about it. I am a bit OCD when it comes to getting things done. But let's be honest. Sometimes it is not discipline. Sometimes it is anxiety that learn how to be productive, if you understand what I mean. And then there is a resistance. Resistance is the part of you that avoids change. Not because you are lazy, but because change feels unsafe. Even if your current life isn't working, it's familiar, and familiar feels safe. And then there is something deeper. If you grew up around emotionally fragile people, sometimes even what psychology calls vulnerable narcissism, you learn to regulate them. You became the one who adjusts, who takes responsibility, who carries emotional weight that was never yours at the first place. And then you call it personality. I am just caring, I am just strong, I am just like this. But you are not just like this. You were shaped like this. And here's where it gets important. The way you survived back then becomes the way you live now. You build your self-worth based on what you're used to. And what are you used to? Effort, struggle, pushing through. There is this quiet belief, nothing comes easy. You have to earn everything. Or in simpler words, if it wasn't hard, it doesn't count. So even when life could be easier, you make it harder. You push, you tolerate, you overextend. Because that's what feels valid, yeah? And then something even more subtle happens. You see something better, a better situation, a healthier relationships, a different life. And instead of moving towards it, you pause. And there is a voice inside. That's not for me. I shouldn't expect too much. This is just how life is. You normalize discomfort. You normalize staying. And this is where people get stuck for years, sometimes decades, in jobs that drain them, in relationships that hurt them, in environments that don't fit them. And they say, now is not the time. I just need to be patient. It'll get better one day, maybe. There is even this idea we grow up with, endure, be patient. That's what you are supposed to do. But let's be honest, if you are not changing it, you're choosing it. even if it's complicated, even if there are responsibilities, even if it's uncomfortable, you are still choosing to stay. And then there are people involved, family, partners, close relationships. And this is where it gets really hard, because changing your life means changing the dynamics. And when you start setting boundaries and saying no, people don't always like it. They question you, they push back, they get uncomfortable. They might say, "You've changed, you are being difficult, you are not the same anymore." And for a moment, it feels like you are the problem, but you are not. You are just no longer participating in the same pattern. And yes, it is uncomfortable for you, for them, for everyone involved. But here's the truth: short-term discomfort or long-term suffering, you choose. That's your choice in the first place. Because if you keep saying yes when you mean no, if you keep staying when you want to leave, if you keep adjusting to keep others comfortable, you are not being kind. You are abandoning yourself. And the system will try to pull you back because it worked before. But growth always looks like disruption first. It is not clean. It is not always nice. It is not always easy. Sometimes people will be upset. Sometimes you will feel guilty. Sometimes you will doubt yourself. And you still have to move. Because on the other side of that discomfort is something very different. Less pressure, more space, more honesty, more you. And maybe for the first time, a life that actually feels like yours. So here's the question, Ariel 1. Where in your life are you still staying because it's easier than changing? And one more, the most important one. Who are you if you stop surviving and finally start choosing? Okay then, you know what to do. Just let it settle.